think that Putin could be bluffing?
About what?
About his intention to
not invade or to invade?
Well, either way.
Well, President Putin has said he doesn't intend to invade. We've also said he's prepared to do that and has lined up troops at the border to invade.
The White House dismissing, quote, Russian propaganda as the Kremlin deploys additional troops to its border with Ukraine.
Fox News contributor Joey Jones joins us live right now. Good morning to you, Joey. So the latest from the administration is that Russia is talking peace, but privately preparing for war. So where does that leave us today?
Leaves us a little bit confused, doesn't it? It seemed there that even Jen Psaki might have been a little bit confused with that question. I think most Americans understood that question pretty well. What is Putin doing? Is he bluffing about going into Ukraine? Is he preparing to go into Ukraine? And the truth is, it depends on the news of the day at this point. I don't think our administration has any better handle on it than most Americans do, and that's the concern we have.
Joey, for the last month, we've been talking about the geopolitical ramifications. We've been talking about the upper echelon strategy. What are the troops on the ground, the guys and gals that you served with that may potentially have to go overseas? What are they saying about all this?
Well, let me preface this by saying I got out of the Marine Corps about a decade ago, but I do have a lot of friends still in, and I know what an 18-year-old, 19-year-old Marine or soldier, sailor, airman has on their mind. The young guys and gals, they join for a reason. They believe they're invincible, as they should. And if they need to be in a conventional war, they feel fine about that. They believe in themselves and their leaders and their capabilities. But those that have been in, that are real old like me, that have been in for 10 or 20 years, they remember the last two wars. And they remember the hardest part about winning in Iraq and Afghanistan was the political will of the American people and the American political system. The idea that every 2 years you could change the direction of the war to win an election, they remember being yo-yoed that way. And I think that's the biggest concern here, is that we, as American people, are worried that someone like President Biden might envelop us into a conflict by telling us how scary Putin is and what he's doing. And next thing you know, it's 20 years later and we've been funding a proxy war in Ukraine. And I think that a lot of older veterans understand that notion, because we kind of just saw it happen to us. I don't know that military conflict is anywhere near a solution for this. But I do understand the administration's posturing. I understand the necessity to have a superpower on the other side of the world, not feel like they can do anything they want to do. But when you listen to Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard or many Republicans, they really think that we don't have as strong of a hand to play as perhaps Americans want to believe. So it comes down to pride or pragmatism, I guess.
Yeah, and then the other issue is if Russia invades Ukraine right now, then that would send a signal to China over Taiwan. And where does that leave us as a nation?
Well, I think our biggest concern, honestly, is the idea that as other countries lose faith in us, they get closer to our enemies, and that affects trade, that affects cyber, that affects our ability to maneuver our military. I mean, one thing we have in this world right now today, no other country has, is an ability to put our military into any hemisphere we want to put it. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. The Marine Corps' promise to America is that we can fight a war within 72 hours of anywhere. Those things are why it's important to us to have allies, to have NATO, and perhaps grow it if Ukraine is where it needs to grow. But unfortunately, it doesn't help to have your military somewhere if you're only provoking needing to use it. And that's where diplomacy matters, and perhaps where our politicians have let us down.
Joey, you are such an important voice on this because, like I said earlier, we have heard from the generals and the think tank individuals. You've been on the ground. You know what war is, and that's why it's so important that you share your perspective like you did this morning. We appreciate it, as always. Thank you for getting up with us.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.